Welcome everybody to No Sleep Till Midnight. I am Gabriel Walker with my friends Kristen, James, Noah, and Reese. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello,
everybody. I didn't know this was Simon Says.
Which one's your best friend?
Ooh,
none of
I
the
can't tell you
above.
that. My wife.
My wife.
My wife is my best friend. There.
Sim.
Yeah. So how's everybody doing? How's the holidays? What's been going on with everyone's lives?
Basically just chillaxing.
Maxing all cool. Playing some people outside the school.
Oh. Yeah. I did a lot of eating, and by a lot of eating, I mean a lot of eating.
I've just been hanging with my cats. That's all I really ever do.
I've been watching my nephew like every day, so that's been nice.
I binge watched an entire show yesterday.
Ooh, what show?
Wow.
This is gonna sound bad, but you kind of need context for the show.
Okay.
It's called Rent a Girlfriend. Yep.
Nice.
Like I was expecting it to be like fucking cringe, but like the characters actually have depth to them, and like it's not so simple as what it may come out to be. I enjoyed
if you're
it.
renting a girlfriend, I'm hoping there's some depth.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Not in that way.
I had so many different.
Or is it?
How
about you, Reese? What you been up to?
Playing me video games, you know me.
Yeah.
You know him.
I'm playing Skyrim as we speak right now, actually.
Oh, really? Really?
You know, Let's Plays are just podcasts with a video game going on in the background.
Yeah.
I was really tempted to get Minecraft on, but I guess I'm a little bit more professional than some.
So I'm keeping it low.
He can't be bothered.
I don't know.
Reese is too cool for us.
I don't know if it's more entertaining than watching waveforms, because that's all I'm doing.
It's kind of fun watching him just slowly move across the screen.
Oh, that's a good one you made right there, Gabe.
Maybe almost. Something to say.
What?
I said maybe almost dying to these vampires will make me think of something to say.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Remember?
I'm dying.
He's dying.
I am.
Why?
Should we get to the meat and potatoes?
The meat and potatoes, probably.
Yes,
I don't know. So I do have a question for all you guys.
What's up?
Okay.
What is one of the weirdest things you did as a child?
So like I have some weird things that were like reoccurring or like a specific weird story.
Go ahead. Either. Yes.
Well, I'll start with the specific story. There was obviously many weird things that I like continued to do, like little quirks or whatever. But like a specific story. In first grade, it was raining outside, and I had to pee really, really bad. And they would not let us inside. And I don't know. I feel like it must be like some torture or something, because we had to line up on these like red, yellow, all these colored lines on the ground to be let in class by class. And it was pouring rain, and they would not let us back inside. And I'm like, well, shit, I'm going to pee myself. So I pissed myself outside, like full bladder.
Incredible.
And then you go back inside, and like everyone's just soaking wet, so you couldn't notice or whatever. But then it was like an hour later, and all like the water had evaporated, but my pants were still wet. So my teacher comes up to me and is like, "Are you okay? Like, what's happening?" I'm like, "I think I need to go to the office and get some pants." And she's like, "Did you have an accident?" I said, "I don't think so." I just went there and got new pants, and yeah, that was just like a very vivid memory. And I just remember looking at the ground, standing in this line, being held outside in the pouring rain against my will, and I just had to pee really bad. That's my story.
That
I have
reminded
another
me.
pants related story. This one's real
Okay.
quick.
We're doing pants stories today.
I guess so.
This is the
But I don't have very many memories from elementary school, but one time I remember that we used to do like a reading time thing, and we're sitting there, and I looked down, I'm just like fiddling around with the carpet, and then I realized that my jeans were on backwards. I'm not kidding you. So like I've been going around that entire day just wearing fucking jeans backwards and had no fucking clue. And I ended up like I got up in the middle of that. I have no idea. I think this is like second or third grade or something. And like I went to the bathroom, changed them around, and like no one said anything prior to that or even after. So I'm not even sure if anyone else noticed.
That's hilarious.
That means you had the perfect poop hole. You should have tried it. You could have just gone to the bathroom, unzipped, and sat down.
You think
That
young me
sounds
would be smart
complicated.
enough for that?
Maybe if you were innovative.
Son, you had the perfect poop hole.
If
I'm
you were
disappointed.
learning anything from school, you might have tried it.
Yeah,
Young man.
your school sucked.
Yeah.
I'm just stupid, I guess.
Yeah, what was your school teaching you?
Nothing,
Okay,
apparently.
So
Does anybody
So-
else have any pants?
I have a pants related. I have a couple pants related stories. This is less pants and more what's inside the pants.
Oh boy.
God.
So I must have been like second, third grade. And the elementary school I went to, it had one of those wooden like playgrounds. You know what I'm talking about, with like the big towers and slides. And
God.
I was
The ones that betray you.
I was a climber. Like I was the kid that was on the outside of the things, getting on top of everything. So here I am on top of the it was like a monkey bars, but instead of like a bars, it was like a loop that swung around. So instead of being on that, I'm straddling the beam. I think you know where this is going, but I was straddling the beam and sliding across until I feel a and I'm like and this is summer. There's like no one else in the playground besides my family. So I find a little spot to like drop trow and try to pull the splinter out of my nutsack.
Oh no!
Ow.
And yeah, that was second grade pants story.
One time, 5-year-old me decided to shit outside, and I got in trouble. I was outside with my cousins, and we were in my backyard, and I was like, dang, I gotta poop. And they're like, just poop behind the tree, like it's fine. And I'm like, because I don't know why, I think I had to really go, and I was like, I don't want to make it all the way to the bathroom. Like, just poop outside, like right behind the tree, like it's fine. And so like I pull down my pants, and I'm trying to go poop, and they run off. I didn't think anything about it. And all of a sudden they come back with my mom. I'm just sitting there squatted down trying to poop. And she's like, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, I was just trying to poop. They told me I could poop right here. Brought me inside. I had to take a bath. That sucked.
Oh no, you had to get
Like
over
a common thing that kids do. Like,
What, just poop outside?
weirdly enough, I had a friend. Yeah, I had a friend. We were hanging out outside, and they had the poop. They didn't want to go inside either, so they just went behind one of the bushes and just shit right there.
Listen, I also have an
Oh my
experience
God.
with this.
Yeah.
It was like the same thing that you said, Noah. That happens, you know.
Wait. Okay, but so in middle school, I wasn't friends with this kid, but some of the kids in my neighborhood were, and he was over at their house, and we were all hanging out. And there's this like abandoned house that was always super creepy. and we were just like sitting on the porch one night. It was like middle of winter, just sitting on the porch, just hanging out. And all of a sudden he goes around the side of the porch. We're like, what the hell? And we just like let it go for a second. Then he didn't come back. We're like, where'd he go? So we went to go find where he was. And we had flashlights. We walk over and he's just on the side of the porch, just shitting on their porch. It's just the worst part is that then he's like running around with his pants down. He's like, I can't pull my pants up if I don't wipe. And so he's just running around the neighborhood with his pants down around his ankles. We're like, what the fuck is happening? He was a grown ass kid.
A grown ass kid.
Grown ass kid.
Oh man. So
Reese, did you have?
Yeah, go ahead, Reese.
Oh,
I think Reese's story is like just moved in the woods.
yeah. I mean, that's pretty much. But I'm taking this in a different direction. This one is just me and my cousins being mischievous little brats. It was like this must have been when I was like 9 or 10, but it was like back when airsoft guns became like really cool to have, and so I just got like my first automatic one, right? And my cousins were over for Thanksgiving, and we went down to this part in the road where you could hide in these bushes and stuff, and we just shot at moving cars as they went by. this one minivan stopped and backed up. and I just like I laid down in the bushes and didn't move, and then he saw my cousin. He saw my cousins do it from the other side of the road. He didn't see me, and so they covered my ass as I was just laying there. They were like, "Yeah, I didn't get caught, and they did." And they got quite a stern talking to.
I remember the story from we must have been playing Xbox.
He was like, "Do you know how much it's going to cost to buff out these scratches?"
Don't worry, Captain. We'll buff out these scratches.
In this economy.
Yeah. I actually did something similar as a kid. Instead of having airsoft guns, I was just like tossing pebbles across the street. And one guy did not like that. He straight up parked, got out of his car, and started chasing me. And I was screaming bloody murder. Just booked it inside the house. My parents are in the living room. They're just like, what the fuck? And then this guy comes up to the front door and has a conversation with my parents. And I just remember, like, I was going to fucking die from this man.
I feel like
a
no
psycho
one would
chasing you
chase
outside
a child
civil.
That's crazy.
Dude, yeah, me and my friends used to get in all sorts of trouble. There's a golf course right next to my house. So we'd go and just have picnics in the middle of the golf course because why not? And then when we got done with the picnic, we'd go off into the woods and we would find old golf balls. And so whenever people were going to tee off, we would throw our golf balls right next to where theirs were to like try and confuse them. And then it escalated to where we were just throwing golf balls at them while they were trying to hit. And we've had a lot of people try to chase us through the woods. It was bad.
Oh man!
And we found forest porn. I didn't know it existed until then.
The legend of the forest porn.
Yeah, it was just a ranky ass DVD that was in the middle of the forest.
On Earth.
I was expecting magazines.
I know, yes. I mean, that's why I always hear, but I guess, the new age.
Yeah. Do you find a portable DVD player or like what?
No, it looks like someone just like, they just had to get rid of it. They just tossed it. No, I don't think I grabbed it. I think one of my friends might have.
Did you hear about the guys? I think this was in Michigan. I think Grand Haven.
Shout out to Grand Haven.
There was hey, look at that. There was a dude that like he sued his parents. Like this is like a 40, 50-year-old dude who sued his parents because they threw out his porn collection.
Oh man.
And
I remember something about
And
I don't remember
the
this at all.
judge sided with it. This was recently. Yeah, okay, here we go. Son wins U.S. lawsuits after parents destroy his porn collection. He sued his parents for getting rid of his pornography collection and has won a lawsuit in Western Michigan. He lived at their Grand Haven home for 10 months after a divorce before moving to Muncie, Indiana.
Muncie.
Muncie.
Sorry. I don't know why I thought that was so funny.
Yeah. It says, working said boxes of films and magazines worth an estimated $29,000 were missing.
Oh,
Jesus.
Yeah.
maybe I know why his parents threw it out. God damn.
But it's
Imagine
not their
just
porn to throw out.
Yeah. But
Collection.
some of the best, there was like, it kind of like blew up for like a couple days. But one of the headlines on one of the websites or the news sites, they did like a throwback to the Beastie Boys thing. It says, "Mom wins or son wins suit after mom throws out his best porno mags."
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, do you ever hear? It was a while ago, but there's a story about a Chinese news team. One of their journalists found
Oh.
they found like a fleshlight or something, or a village found a fleshlight, and they thought it was like a special mushroom or something, or like a undiscovered mushroom, and they reported it, and the investigators went and did a whole story on it, and they had to come back and be like, our young news team didn't know what they were talking about.
It kind of reminds me. I don't know the teacher specifically. I think this was in middle school. Like kids were talking about how it was either a substitute teacher or just like a straight up teacher would watch porn during class while kids worked on like homework and shit, and students would see that, and I think they reported it. I'm not entirely sure.
So when I was in high school, the last high school I went to 3 different high schools. The third one was an online high school that was based in Utah while I was living in Michigan. And the one of my teachers got arrested for soliciting a prostitute. And we had to go to like the grief counselors and like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't even know, because at the time, I was with the site said, or like the news article said like prostitution, and I'm like, was my teacher a prostitute? But no, he was buying a prostitute.
Yeah.
Incredible.
So I have a little story kind of going back to what James was saying. It reminded me of, there was like KTUV News. I looked it up just because I wanted to be sure. There was an Asiana flight 214. This news site didn't fact check at all. And they were saying that it got in a crash, and the captain's name was Sum Ting Wong. And then holy fuck, and Bang Ding Ow. That just reminded me. And eventually they released a correction and apologized for it, but that just reminded me of that.
I thought that was just a meme. I didn't think that was an actual news report.
No, it was genuinely on TV.
That makes it.
My favorite was Way Too Low.
That makes it
too low.
Yeah, it's incredible what memes can do to news sites.
Yeah, crazy.
What memes can do in general.
Are we memes, Gabriel? Is that what you were implying?
Yes.
We are all memes.
Excellent.
Aren't we all just memes traveling around each other, waiting to upvote each other?
It's the astronaut meme. It's just it was memes all along.
Always has been.
Always will be.
It was beans all along.
Beans all along.
That's a meme.
Yeah.
Stick that in your meme and smoke it.
Beans. So, are you guys ready for a bedtime story?
Maybe.
Because I got a bedtime story for you guys.
I mean, it's like 3:25 in the
Yeah,
afternoon.
it's still a bedtime story.
I can sleep.
Okay, so this is a bit of a longer story. This is like 3 pages written, but
Oh man,
this is the story of one of my favorite historical characters. This is a real thing. His name is Oofty Goofty.
I'm excited.
I haven't heard this one yet.
Okay, so I'm just going to read this for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah, there really isn't much of a written history for circus sideshows, but the first time we had a human sideshow act was in 1835 when P.T. Barnum started promoting his human novelty acts he called freaks. Throughout the years, freak shows became a staple of the entertainment across the country. Often they have a barker extolling people to come gawk at human oddities. These oddities could be people with rare medical conditions or deformities, heavily tattooed or pierced people. So we probably all would be human oddities. We all have tattoos and piercings.
I'm perfectly clean, actually.
Yeah, look at you. You'd be the barker.
Reese is beautiful in the eyes of God.
I'm the showrunner. You guys are all my
Reese's.
Exactly. Exactly.
I'd run with
and
that.
some people even did performative acts like sword swallowing or fire dancing. There are a lot of different stories from these people, and often they are forgotten by history. But I want to focus on one in particular, coming from San Francisco, the performer called Oofty Goofty.
Can I interject real quick? I just had a dream last night that I swallowed a sword, and I don't know why.
Oh.
I just don't know. I don't know. I just had to bring that up. Sorry, keep going. Do it again.
Dicks. So Leonard Burkhardt was born in Berlin, Germany on April 26, 1862. When he was 14 years old, he stowed away on the SS Frisia to come to America, but he didn't make it when he was caught by the captain and forced to work for 3 years to pay off the free passage. And back then, it would take about 2 weeks across the Atlantic. Though he worked 3 passages to pay off his debt, he wouldn't make enough money to immigrate to America until 2 years later in 1878. And he didn't really get a lot of great breaks either when he got here. He drifted across states for about 5 years, never really finding a job or like long-term residence. And so in 1883, he found himself penniless in a Detroit snowstorm. Now, if you listeners out there aren't familiar with the weather here in Michigan, let me tell you, winter sucks. It is very cold and very snowy.
We get the worst of winter and we get the worst of summer. Hot and humid.
Yeah. I like the summer.
Yeah.
Like, it's not the worst, but it still can get pretty bad.
Well, I think it's pretty neat.
Yeah.
Oofty Goofty.
So, Oofty Goofty. So here's our boy, Leonard Burkhardt, before he was Oofty Goofty, penniless in the middle of a snowstorm. So what does he do? He joins the army and became a cavalier. Now, one thing I hadn't mentioned was Leonard was 5'4", had a dark complexion, and was Jewish. And now there's nothing wrong with being Jewish, but back in those days, discrimination was, cool. And so he was mercilessly teased and bullied by his fellow soldiers for being Jewish and also being 5'4". And so this lasted about 3 years until he was about to be deployed to the Washington Territory, when he was told that the Native Americans would scalp him first due to his complexion. So he deserted, not wanting to be scalped. So he finally made his way to San Francisco to find work in 1884. Now, this is where the story starts getting interesting. He was working on Market Street when he was approached by two men who offered him a job, which he accepted without being told what the job was. He didn't ask what it was until after arrangements had been made and he was stuck in it. You see, these two men were from the Dime Museum and they wanted him to pose as the wild man of Borneo. So when he got to the museum, they stripped him naked, covered him with road tar, and then covered him with horse hair to make him look like a savage man. He was then handcuffed and stuck in a cage, forced to eat raw meat that was stuck in the cage by attendants and only shout the words, "Oofty Goofty, Oofty Goofty, Oofty Goofty." And because that's all he said, people began to call him Oofty Goofty.
I thought this was a fun story.
It becomes fun.
How?
I don't remember that part of the story.
Yeah. So while playing the part, the Barkers said that he could speak hundreds of languages but understood none of them. People would pay a dime to see the wild man of Borneo, and he became a huge hit in San Francisco. However, the show lasted a week when a couple of Irish guys began to poke him in with a stick in the ribs, to which Mr. Goofy yelled at them in English. So
What?
Can't believe you would break character like that.
right. You know, it's just a couple Irish guys. All right, poke him in the ribs. Go on, Sean. Something like that.
Yeah.
So the show was finished, and the two men who recruited Oofty left with all the money. Goofy was left with all the tar and hair on him, which caused him to get sick since he couldn't sweat. At the hospital, they tried to get the tar off of him, but they couldn't conventionally. So they ended up putting tar solvent on him and leaving him on the roof to drip dry.
Oh my God.
This
Wow.
is actually making me cringe. When does it get good?
Yeah, what is it?
We're almost there. We're almost there.
Man. Poor guy.
So eventually he got the tar off and he was found a job as a mascot for a baseball team with the lucrative contract of $20 if they won. But if they didn't win, they'd get to beat him up, which is what happened. The team lost several games, beat poor Oofty Goofty up, and he made him walk back to San Francisco.
Oh.
Unfortunately for Oofty, when he got back, he was arrested for deserting the army and sentenced to 3 years of hard labor. He tried faking sickness to get out of the sentence, but he was found out by the prison doctors. So he decided to jump off a small cliff to get out of his sentence by claiming disability.
What?
Yep.
This is just so sad.
It starts sad, but he starts,
Okay.
I want the redemption arc.
Yeah.
So when he got back, he got a job at a bar doing an act where he would drink beers rapidly with a teaspoon. The crowd didn't really like the act. The bouncer threw him out on the bar onto the street, which is where Oofty Goofty made the discovery that ended up making his career.
Oh.
He could not feel pain.
What?
Yeah, that seems sweet.
So Oofty Goofty went around the Bay Area charging people money to hit him. The harder and more brutal they wanted to hit him, the more it was cost. For 10 cents, he would allow a man to kick him. For 25 cents, someone could beat him with a walking stick. And for 50 cents, you could hit him in the head with a baseball bat provided by Oofty Goofty.
Oh my god.
How did he just now discover this if he was getting beaten up after baseball games?
I think he might have like one thing must have severed a nerve or something, and he just stopped feeling pain.
Crazy.
Probably.
But this is the 1800s, so who knows?
Modern science wasn't where it is nowadays.
I think that's an actual
Exactly.
disease that people can have, though.
Yeah, I knew a guy who he didn't have nerve endings from for both of his hands from about mid forearm down, and he would like punch walls and he put his hand on a hot burner and it would burn him, but he didn't feel the pain. So it was kind of crazy.
I wouldn't do that.
No. So Oofty made a living like this for a while until he ran into one John L. Sullivan. Now, if you guys don't know who John Sullivan was, he was the de facto heavyweight boxing champion of the world.
I like
And an enormous man. So he would spend his time in bars and he would say that he could beat any man alive. So Oofty approached him and asked him to hit him as hard as he could with a pool cue. Sullivan obliged and hit him so hard that he broke 3 vertebrae, causing him to walk with a limp the rest of his life and also lose his talent of feeling no pain. Now he would flinch at the slightest touch.
This got sad again. Is there a happy ending?
Kind of.
You got
Kind of. So now without his talent, Oofty tried other things for money. For example, he bet he could attempt to push a wheelbarrow from San Francisco to New York City.
With a limp?
Why?
Yep. But he only made it 40 miles before falling headfirst into a creek at night.
Oh,
He also performed as a human skittle where patrons could win a cigar if they hit him with a baseball.
Why? Do you know?
Ooh, poor Oofty.
I know.
He even took to the theater, playing alongside an actress called Big Bertha, a plus-size woman in a play called Borneo and Juliet, where he reprised his role as the wild man of Borneo, though the script was mostly just the original Shakespearean Romeo and Juliet.
Strange.
I would watch that, though.
Yeah.
That
This
sounds
man's
amazing.
life is strange.
Yeah.
It really.
How old is he at this point?
Oh,
He's been a lot.
probably. I don't know. I think he was born in 1862. He got to San Francisco in 83. So he's probably
It was like
20s,
19.
30s.
I could be doing the math wrong, but he started off 19.
Yeah, 20s, 30s ish
that's crazy.
at this time. So for $20, he willingly let himself be shipped in a box to a woman in Sacramento as a gag, a distance of 90 miles,
Oh my god.
which was a lot in those days. The mailman, not knowing he was there, shipped him upside down and left him in a warehouse for 3 days.
Oh my god.
It sounds like YouTube clickbait.
Yeah.
Like YouTubers have actually tried doing that.
Oh, there have been successful versions of that, but so though it didn't dampen his spirits, he did say he almost died doing it.
Jeez.
So he eventually was invited to Texas by a man named Mr. Holland. While he was there, he attended a few parties. At one of them, while he was entertaining a few men, he was asked if he could eat 30 quail in 30 hours. This is a quote from Mr. Oofty. That was his my first quail eating contest. That was the hardest experience of my life, but I consider myself the champion quail eater of the United States.
Does he still hold the record?
I don't know, maybe.
Oh. I
Has
guess
there
so.
been any competition since?
Maybe. That's a good question.
Each other.
We'll do a 30-hour quail eating stream.
we should.
A quail eating mukbang.
Oh my god. I don't even know where to get quail.
Hey, we got what's his record?
Is that like a real food? Like, come on.
I think it's 30 quail in 30 hours.
That's
not a
one
lot.
quail per hour.
Yeah.
That's
Man, I
math.
mean, quail
I
are
think
pretty
quail.
good sized birds. And
How
he's
big is
only
it?
5'4".
We could We can do the Oofty Goofty quail eating challenge.
All right, if any of you out there
Yes.
want to do the hashtag Oofty Goofty quail eating challenge, and send us your results, please do so.
Yeah,
Hashtag Oofty, hashtag Goofty.
Okay, Gabe, you also said only 5'4". I'm 5'2", so shut up.
Well, for a dude, that's short.
Come on. Now.
It's short for a girl too.
It's below average.
Yeah. Yeah.
No matter what, it's below average.
Yeah. So this is the last. This is the last paragraph of the story.
Oh man.
Oh no.
So he then took his quail eating contest on tour. He would go to oil fields and entertain the workers by challenging them to drink beer with a spoon and to quail eating contests. After a while, he began to sell fake diamonds to people, which is the last we hear from the man named Oofty Goofty.
And then he became K Jewelers. The end.
There it is.
I just want
The
to point out,
origin story for K
Every
Jewelers.
kiss begins with Oofty Goofty.
Petition for them to
oh,
change
you got me all drinking.
quail.
That made me
K Jewelers, we have a proposition for you. Make the Oofty Goofty line.
Yeah.
Is your man a wild man of Borneo? Does he yell Oofty and Goofty all the time?
Oh my god.
Does
They
he
should have
his baseball bat?
They should have the
That's
Oofty
so
Goofty
bad.
challenge where it's like if you eat 30 quails in 30 hours, you get your ring free.
Oh my god! Yeah, like, that might be the move.
It's going to be at the nearest K Jewelers and Texas Roadhouse eatery.
They're gonna be sitting outside like little Girl Scouts with their
Hey, K Jewelers, hit us up if you need that collab. We know you ain't doing that well.
Sponsored by WTFK.
Yeah, we're really failing out of this one, K Jewelers.
Yeah.
Look, it's the
Gotta
next
say,
big
I've never
step for
had
your
quail
company.
before.
I've never had quail either.
I've never seen
I don't think-
food like anywhere.
I'll say I don't think anyone that's lived outside of the 1800s has ever had quail.
I think it's big in Texas.
Texas, everything's bigger than Texas.
It's like a road trip down to Texas. The
Quail
Oofty Goofty
recipes.
eating challenge.
Well, I know quail's one of those. It's one of those game birds that everyone hunts for when they go hunting. So that,
And
that
they're
makes
big,
sense.
tiny.
Never seen
They're
one in
tiny.
the wild, however.
Yeah.
I've seen a pheasant, but not a quail.
Was it?
Whales even live in Michigan?
No, I don't
Probably
think so.
not.
Oh, kind of transitioning back to our original topic of discussion. I have a story related to that.
Okay.
I think it was in middle school. We were driving to my very first anime convention. This was JFAX when they used to be at Grand Valley rather than over in Grand Rapids. But we're driving and we see something colorful like poke out of the like cornfield that we're driving by. And we park. It's a fucking peacock.
What?
Like a peacock in Michigan? What the fuck?
Yeah.
And
Dude, there's
I don't
peacocks
think
all
I have
over
any
Michigan.
photos, but the people that I was with probably do. But like, why the fuck is there a male peacock just on the side of the road in a
Just
cornfield?
Someone's just living luxuriously.
I used to live in a little town called Three Rivers in the like really southern part of Michigan, and there was peacocks everywhere.
How many rivers were there?
I don't know. Good question.
Oh, one time I went to the zoo and I was just a stupid little kid in a stroller, and there was a peak. They just had peacocks that would walk around, and one walked by me, and I was just like, "Yeah, that tail's fucking awesome." So I just tried to grab its tail, and then it started pecking me. It did not like it.
What the hell,
No?
bro?
No,
Why not?
Wow.
I don't know.
Imagine that.
I think I also like maybe I just like would always see people with like peacock feathers in shows or movies or whatever. I was like, oh yeah, I need one of those. But it's not as easy to get as you would think.
Yeah. Well, I'd find peacock feathers all the time, just like randomly in my yard. Like they were literally everywhere. They would.
So odd.
It was just like you'd look outside, like, oh, there's like 14 peacocks in my yard. Cool.
I just had deer, and they just poop.
Yeah.
One time
We
I thought I
had
could
a
talk to
lot of
animals.
geese. We had a lot of geese too. Geese and peacocks. It was strange.
Yeah. One time I thought I could talk to animals because there was a bunch of deer in my backyard. So I walked out there and I just was going super slow and I had my hand out and I was trying to get as close as I could. And I got really close and I was talking to them and they just were staring at me and then they just ran away. So I don't think I can actually talk to animals, but
Oh man.
It was
cool
like
experience. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that is the show for today. That was a lot of fun stories, you guys.
Yeah.
We
I
do a
love
great
hearing about pants.
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 Childhood
If you
story.
wear your pants backwards, you get a perfect poop hole.
bird, I guess.
Go shit outside.
Poop hole.
Perfect poop hole.
And next time you're at K Jewelers, just be like, hey, thanks or just in memory of Oofty Goofty, we miss him.
Exactly.
Bring him back.
Exactly.
Bring him back.
Yeah, bring him back.
Remember, everybody, hashtag perfect poop hole, hashtag Oofty Goofty eating challenge.
Hashtag K Jewelers, please collab with us.
Yeah.
Please, we need the money.
Yeah.
Kristen, can you tell all the people about where they can find us on social media?
Yes, we have a YouTube, which is where a lot of our stuff is going to be posted. We have a Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Everything is WTFK Productions, except for Twitter. Twitter is Productions WTFK. That's the only one that's not correct.
Twitter just got to be backwards.
Fuck Twitter.
Gotta be quirky like that, doesn't it?
Yes, but everything will be linked, obviously, in the description. So
We're burning our original Twitter first thing.
It's fine.
Okay.
This is a personal challenge to John Twitter to come and fight us.
Hashtag John Twitter fight me.
Find us on MySpace.
I will beat your ass.
We
Find
should
me
make
in
a
Kazaa.
MySpace because find us on GeoCities.
Find me on Neopets, man.
Neopets.
Let's do a playthrough of that.
What's your Webkins login for WT?
I was too broke for those.
you
WTFK
can get them for free
Webkins
now.
when?
Like you can just log on the
Yeah,
website and play without having to buy a plush.
Well, that's
Ridiculous! I got scammed out of so much money.
yeah. That's so much of my childhood. I was so sad that I couldn't play, and now I guess I can. You can just do it.
Yeah.
That was after my time. My brothers
Yeah.
did it though.
That was like growing
That
up.
was the
That was
shit
like
in
the
elementary
thing.
school.
That was
That was
I wanted.
man, bro.
No, Club Penguin was where it was at.
See, that was before my time.
Yeah, no, Club Penguin was it.
Club Penguin and RuneScape. But anyway, we're boring you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Everything the listeners are boring me.
Yeah. They're not even saying
Just kidding.
anything.
I know.
Like, what do you
How dare.
Subscribe.